Chapter 5. Naomi's Perspective. I sat in a bathtub and messed with some bubbles. I had my phone plugged up in my speaker, and I was in my relaxation mode. I sang along all the songs that came on until it came to one specific one called Fallen Angel. I dunked my head under the water. I listened to the music. I could faintly hear it. I couldn't help but imagine while I was under there. I stood in a large ballroom in a red flowing dress that came to my knees. I walked around, my footsteps echoing throughout the hall. I felt a hand on my shoulder, and I turned around to see Jeff in a suit. "Would you dance with me?" he asked. I smiled. I took his hand. "I'm not a good dancer, just so you know." "I bet your dancing is as good as your singing." He put his hands on my waist, and I put mine on his shoulders. It was amazing. I had no idea I could dance that well, and the music made it even better. Just as we were about to kiss, I felt a tap on my head, lost my breath, and my imagination flooded away. I popped up to see my mom. "It's time to get into bed," she said. "Okay." I pulled the plug, got out, got dressed, and jumped into bed. Mom took my phone down with her. "Good night. I'll come wake you up before we have to leave." "Okay." I closed my eyes and fell asleep. The next morning, my mom came upstairs and put a box on the ground. "Wake up. It's almost time to go." I snorted and sat up. "Do I have to go?" "Yes, Billy loves you. He would be so sad if you didn't come." I got up. "What's in the box?" I asked and opened it. "I bought it for you to wear to the party." I pulled out a red dress and gasped. "Thanks, Mom," I said. I put on the dress with my black boots and headed downstairs. "Ready?" my mom asked. "Yep, as ready as I'll ever be." I walked out and down the street, 3 houses to a gray bricked house with balloons. I walked into the backyard and saw a ton of little kids, ages 5 to about 8. I stood next to the fence. A little red-headed boy came running up to me and jumped into my arms. "Hi, Naomi. I'm so glad you made it to my birthday," he said. "I wouldn't miss it for the whole world, kiddo." I hugged him and set him down, and he ran off. "Who was that?" I heard someone ask. I turned around, and Jeff was walking in. "That was Billy." Jeff was dressed in his white hoodie and black dress pants. I giggled. "What's so funny?" he asked. "Oh, what you're wearing. It's your usual hoodie and black dress pants. The pants are completely different from the hoodie." "I didn't want to wear anything fancy," he said. "My mom bought this dress for the occasion," I said. "It looks good on you," Jeff said. I looked at the fence on the other side of the yard and saw something moving behind it. "They're back again," I said. "Who is?" Jeff looked at me. I whistled loudly. "Billy, get your friends in the house, now!" Billy ran in the house with everyone else. Randy and his duo of friends jumped the fence. "It's payback time," Randy said. Jeff's perspective. "You again? How many times do we have to beat you up?" Naomi said. "Stay out of this," Keith said. "We don't want nothing to do with you, girlie." Troy spat. "We're here for your little boyfriend," Randy said. "If you want me, come and get me," I said. "I want to help," she said. "No, I'm not risking you getting hurt again." She growled. "Fine, but if you need me, I'll back you up." Randy came at me first and tackled me through the glass door, shattering it. He punched me in the jaw and threw me off of him. I staggered back and fell. I looked over and saw Keith and Troy with guns preventing the grown-ups from helping. I picked up a piece of glass off the ground. It cut into my hand, but I didn't care. I got that feeling again, but this time it didn't want to go away. I threw my body at Randy, knocking him over and slitting his throat with the glass, stabbing him repeatedly. I stood up. Randy cracked a bottle of vodka over my head before he fell. The liquid dripped all over my body. Keith dropped the gun. You're in so much trouble now, boy. I ran up the stairs and ran into the bathroom. Keith tackled me into the shower curtain and it fell. I grabbed the rod and hit him over the head. I stepped out of the shower and he punched me. I hit the medicine cabinet and a bottle of bleach fell over and opened up on top of me. It burned a little, but I still didn't care. Keith laughed. What's so funny? I growled. Your face is covered in bleach and vodka. He laughed and threw a lighter on my face, lighting my whole body on fire. This time it really did hurt. I screamed in agony. Jeff! I looked over to see Naomi in the doorway. Then I blacked out. I woke up to hear the beating of a heart monitor. I can't see anything, I said to no one in particular. Oh, good, you're awake, I heard a woman's voice say. The reason you can't see is because you have bandages over your face, she said. Where am I? I asked. You are in the hospital. You suffered severe burns, she said. When will I get my bandages off? I asked and tried to sit up. You'll get them off soon, and please try to rest, okay? She left. I laid back down and fell asleep. About an hour later, I heard the door open and woke up slightly. Good news. The doctor told me you'll get your bandages off in about an hour or two, the nurse said, and then she left. I flopped on my pillow. How am I even still alive? I heard the door creak open. Jeff? I heard a girl's voice. Yeah, who is it? I asked and sat up straight. Who do you want it to be? She asked me. I would love to see Lou, my mom, and my amazing girlfriend, I said. Your request has been granted, the girl said. Is this Jeff's room? I heard a boy's voice. Lou, is that you? I asked hopefully. Yeah, it's me, Lou said. I smelled through my bandages. Wait, is Mom here? I asked. Yes, I'm right here, honey, my mom said. I felt someone sitting on the bed. No need to ask about your amazing girlfriend because I'm here. I'm glad I had these bandages on. I don't want her to see me blushing, I thought. So, how long have I been out? I asked. About 3 days, Lou said. 3 days? I yelled. Yes, that's what I said, Lou said. The door opened. All right, Jeff, it's time to get those bandages off, the nurse said. I felt a hand on mine and I got off the bed and was led into the front of the mirror. May I take the bandages off myself? I asked. Sure you can, the nurse said. I reached my hands up and untied the bandages around my face. The bandages unraveled and fell at my feet. I blinked a couple of times to adjust to the lighting and gasped. I stared at my reflection. My skin was completely white and my hair turned black. Whoa, Lou said. Oh, Jeffrey, it's not so bad, my mom said and put her hand on my shoulder. What are you talking about? It's perfect. I love it. I grabbed Naomi's hand and placed it on my cheek. You like it too, right? She ran a finger down my cheek. No, I don't like it, she said with a serious look on her face. What? Why? I frowned. She looked at me. I don't like it. I love it. She smiled widely and kissed me. I kissed her back. Ew, you are gross, Lou said. I backed off first. All right, I'll get your mom to fill out some paperwork and then you're free to go, the nurse said and left with my mom. I can't believe everything is still intact, Naomi said while playing with my hair. Yeah, I'm surprised as well. She rubbed my arm and I blushed. Jeff, your skin feels a little like leather, she said. I can't really tell, honestly, I said. You two are making me sick, Lou said and stuck out his tongue. Then leave if this makes you feel sick. I kissed Naomi just to make Lou feel uncomfortable. Seriously, Jeff, that's gross, Lou said and ran out of the room. Oh, I brought you some clothes, she said and pulled away from me to grab a bag that was on the floor and handed it to me. I opened it and pulled out a white hoodie and black dress pants. I thought this stuff burned, I said a little confused. Oh, it did. I just went out and bought you some new stuff, Naomi smiled at me. Well, thanks. I went into the bathroom and changed. I walked out of the bathroom. Come on, guys. Mama's done with the paperwork. Let's go home, Lou said. I walked out of the room and followed Lou, with Naomi trailing behind us. Naomi's perspective. I was glad Jeff was okay, but something seemed a little off about him. I just didn't know what. I walked beside him and took his hand. He looked at me and he blushed. Oh, you should know that Keith was caught, but Troy got away, I said. How can you lose a fat kid? He sighed. I was wondering the same thing. I looked down as we walked back to the car. I looked at my phone clock. It was 9:30 p.m. I yawned a little. Are you tired? He asked and looked at me. Yeah, I've been up the past 3 nights worrying about you. I smiled weakly. You didn't have to do that, you know, he said. Yeah, I know. I was just really worried, and when I worry, I don't sleep. We walked into the large underground parking lot. My vision clouded over, and I got lightheaded. I let go of Jeff's hand and started to lag a little behind. I tried to keep walking, but I felt like my legs wouldn't move. I started to breathe heavily. I fell to the ground, vomited a little blood, and passed out. I heard voices, but I couldn't make out what they were saying. I woke up in my room with a cold rag on my head. It looked like it was morning. I coughed. Oh, you're awake. My mom came in and took the rag off my head and stuck a thermometer in my mouth. You fainted in the hospital parking lot, and Jeff's mom brought you home. She took the thermometer out of my mouth and looked at it. It's 99.9 degrees. You still have a little bit of a temperature, but that doesn't mean you can't have visitors. She left the room. I don't feel like seeing anyone. I tucked my head under the covers. Not even me. I looked over to the covers to see Jeff in the doorway. I rolled over. Can I come in? He asked. Sure, I guess. He came in and stood on the edge of my bed. I brought you something you might like, he said. What is it? He handed me a gold box with a black ribbon. I shook it. Can I open it? I asked, and he nodded. I opened it to see different kinds of chocolates. My eyes grew big. Where did you get this? I grabbed a chocolate. I got it from a homeless man across the street, he said. I put the chocolate down. I'm joking. I bought it. I picked it back up and popped it into my mouth. You didn't have to give me anything, you know, I said, and set the box on my bedside table. Yeah, I know, but you bought me clothes, so I bought you chocolate. I blew some hair on my face and sat up. I guess I should have slept those 3 days instead of staying awake the whole time, I said. Yeah, that would have been best. He laughed a little. I don't want to be in here all day. I want to do something. I yelled into my pillow. My mom came in. You can get out of bed. Just don't run around or stuff. She left. I hopped out of bed, grabbed some clothes, and ran into my bathroom to change. I walked out and headed downstairs into the living room and sat at the piano. Jeff came down and stood behind me. You play the piano? He asked. Yeah. I used to take lessons when I was really little. I picked up a piece of sheet of music and put it on the stand and began playing. I played Vector to the Heavens from the game Kingdom Hearts 358, 2 days. I played and hummed along to it. I stopped and let the piano ring for a moment. Wow, that's amazing. I looked at Jeff's face and saw he was really stunned. Could you play something else? He asked. Of course I can. I chose to play Kingdom Hearts Sanctuary. I played and started singing without knowing it. I hit the last note and held it for as long as I could. I let the piano ring once again. I leaned back in the chair. Wow, Jeff said. I honestly have no words to describe how amazing that was. I'm not that good, I said. I put the sheet of music away. You are beyond good. You're amazing. I laughed a little. Thanks. I got up. Come to think of it, I taught myself something on the piano once, Jeff said, and took my place at the piano. I'll see if I can try and remember it. He pressed some of the keys. If you know it, you can sing to it. He smiled at me. Okay, I'll try. He began playing. I recognized the song instantly. It was Sweet Dreams Are Made of These. I knew it, but I got a weird feeling when began singing it. I sang along with the piano until I noticed Jeff had started singing along with me. Things became jumbled in my mind, visions of creepy things that made no sense to me whatsoever. My whole body began to feel weird. The song ended, and I quickly sat down. You okay? Jeff got up and kneeled in front of me. I looked into his eyes. Yeah, I'm just out of breath. I don't really sing that often. This may sound like an odd question, but do you dance? He asked me. I dance when no one is around, like when I'm left alone at home. I dance to music on my computer that I hook up to some speakers so I can hear it throughout the whole house. He laughed. Yeah, I know. I rolled my eyes. He stood up and held out his hand to me, and I took it. Want to dance with me? My face reddened. Like right now? He nodded. I guess that's fine. He pulled a white box out of his pocket and plugged it into his phone and pressed a button. I gasped a little and realized the song was Fallen Angel. It's like my imagination realm all over again.